Alright, welcome guys, welcome to today's workout. So we're taking a leaf out of the book from the guys at Dekafit. Obviously you don't know what Dekafit is. If you know what Spartan is, then you should know what Dekafit is. The guys here in Oz, you may not have seen Dekafit promoted here too much, but clearly in the States we've been using it a fair bit throughout the pandemic as a way to put in a challenge into those gyms that could be open. So I've been using the Dekafit format myself personally now for about 2 or 3 months. This is probably the first video where I'm actually going to talk about it and introduce it into today's workout. So Dekafit, for those that are not familiar, decathlon, 10 events, a number of, let's call it, movements and a number of reps per station, and then you move on. There's a second variation, so that's Dekafit Strong. We're just moving from station to station, and there's no running involved. There are 2 other formats. One, it involves a 160-meter run, which is basically like a lap around the outside of what would be the little stadium where all the stations are, and then in between each of the laps, each of the stations. And then the third one is a bigger event, a bit more endurance, and it involves a 500-meter run in between each of the stations. So there are other stuff out there, so I think high rocks and those types of things, but again, Dekafit's part of Spartan, and given we've only got one event coming up here for those of us in Oz, and that's in Queensland at the end of November. If the borders don't open up, the rest of us, we're stuck. So to you local Spartans, this is a workout that you need to try. You can either do it at home. Yes, I've got the luxury of having kit at home where I train my own clients, or you can get yourself to the gym, and what I will do in the post below, I'll give you the rundown of the format that I use. Now, I didn't use the, let's call it the core or the original version, simply because there are 1 or 2 pieces of equipment that I don't have. So therefore I simply modified, put in a movement or something similar that I know that would probably take me just as long, but would tax me probably along the same vein as far as what those movements are, and we'll explain them as we get into this. So how do we start this? Well, the standard is a 25 kilo, what do you call it, power bag that I've got here. You could use a sandbag. You could also use the Viper for those who have got it, and you'll see in the original Dekafit stuff, they're using like the Viper or what they call a Ram. One is 25 kilos. I've got myself here a wall ball. I've got a 20 pounder or a 9 kilo for the guys. Obviously lighter for the girls, 5 kilo or 14 pound. I've also got another 20 kilo version of the bag, of the sandbag for a different movement. I've got my mat, okay. I've got my Ski Erg. I've got a pair of heavy kettlebells, so 24 kilos for the boys, and obviously for the girls it'll be a little bit lighter. I think it's around a 16 or an 18, so 16 for the, let's say, the standards. And I've got my rower, and other than that there I need an object that's about 4 foot high to mimic that 4 foot wall that we would see familiar at Spartan race. Not the 10 footer, just the 4 footer, enough that we've got to get ourselves up and over. So what's the format? Well, we're going to take the first power bag, 25 kilo, I'm going to rack up on my shoulders, and I'm going to get reverse alternating lunges for a total of 30. So of course I'm going to go 15 on the one side, 15 on the second. We're then going to jump onto the rower. We're going to bang ourselves 500 meters on the rower. So we go from here, a bit of strength base, we go into a lot of conditioning on the rower, literally rip that handle, drive those legs, get that catch, get your 500 quickly. Be aiming for at least a 2 minute per 500. Otherwise, you're going to be here for too long. And if you're stronger than that, go hell for leather. You'll recover, don't worry. From there, we're going to come on to, now it would normally be 20 box step ups or box overs, okay? In this case, I don't have a box here. All I'm using is milk crates, that ain't too safe. So to mimic that, I simply chose to come down, and I'm doing my body drops, okay? You can also do burpees if you want to do the clap and yeehaw, but for me, it's 20. It's the same sort of movement as I'll be coming up and down by using the hinging movement, so that's why I chose to do them. Plus it jacks the heart rate much the same. From there, you're going to go onto the Ski Erg. Again, 500 meters in the Ski Erg. Now at the end of this, if you don't have this equipment, I'm going to give you an at-home version for you to try as well too. 500 meters on Ski Erg, yep, maybe not as fast as this, but get in, rip through it, get your 500 done. That is the machines done. We're not going to come back and see them again. From there, tell a lie, we're going to come onto the kettlebell. Double kettlebells, pick them up, farmer's walk for 100 meters. So I went out to the driveway. I've got about a 10-meter section, and I just went up and back, up and back, up and back, up and back until I got my 100 meters. And you'll see me on my post. I'm walking like the farmer who wants to go to the toilet just to get them done, to avoid putting those suckers down and picking them back up again. 100 meters. And I lied before. The last machine with trusty steed, assault bike, 425 calories. Okay, again, get in, don't worry about your speed, just get to the speed and go. I like to simply sit at around 65, 66. It's a nice easy speed. I can still have a conversation, but you got to push and pull on those handles. Just pedaling with the pins ain't going to help you get your calories. You got to rip and pull on those handles to build the calories, because that's how these guys work. Otherwise we'd just spin. No point, hey? So after that, after the bike, we're going to come over to the wall ball overs, or the dead ball over the wall. So again, I don't have a portable 4-foot wall, so I simply went outside of the driveway and I grabbed my green recycling bin. It sits about yay high, and I simply picked up my trusty dead ball, picked him up, pushed him over and went back down. Now the weight for that I think is only around a 20 kilo. I happen to have a 20, but I wanted to test myself, so I've used the 35 kilo just to mimic that, so that way I had to push and work a little bit harder. So for me, I used the 35 kilo, and we're talking 20 of these. Now the next one is what they call the tank pull and pull. For those of you who have never seen the tank before, basically it's like your stroller without the baby in it, right? It's got 4 wheels, it's got some resistance on it. You can push it forward, you can pull it back. In the gym, just simply use the sled and add a little bit of weight, add about 50 kilos to the sled, okay? But basically it is 100 meters, 50 meters in a forward direction, 50 meters in a reverse direction, pulling it back. And what they say is, excuse me, push it 10 meters forward, pull it 10 meters back. Do that 5 times, and there's your 100. So what I did instead of that there, I simply got down and I did the forward and back, but I simply did bear crawl. I got down, I had to drive with my legs like I'm pushing, and then I had to push and push from my shoulders to do my bear crawl, back and forward, up and back 5 times for my 100 meters. From there, the last one, for those who are familiar with CrossFit, you know what a devil's press is. Basically we're getting down, burpee style, and bring the bag back up. So again, you're going to do the same thing with the ram. I chose the power bag. That's what the, let's call it the lighter version is for. This one is 20 kilos. So it's as simple as, bag's going to come on the floor, get down, burpee, rip the bag up, put it back down the floor, repeat, and that is 20 reps. That completes the Dekafit Strong, with the exception of one that I did miss, which is what the wall ball is for. Basically, think of this as sit-ups where we're going to slam the ball against the wall. So again, I'm going to sitting down in my sit-up position. I'm going to have my wall ball here. I'm going to come all the way down. Ball is going to come behind the head. I'm going to sit up, and I'm going to shove it up against the wall. Okay, same thing. That 4-foot target, that's what we're after. So up, stand against the wall, pick it up, go back down, and it will be 20 reps to complete the workout. Now, the original order is somewhat slightly different. I just happen to choose this order because of the flow of what I've got sitting inside here, plus outside with the rain. That is what Dekafit is like. All up, it's around, let's say, a 20-minute-ish, subject to how fast you're going to go and how fit you're going to go. If it's your first time and you're not that fit and you're just missing out in Spartan and you want to, as they say, get all that shit done, take your time. Give yourself 30 minutes. See how much you can complete. Follow the workout below. Now, at-home versions. Not everyone has the kit. One piece of kit that I like to use, and I've been using now for quite a while, is the weighted ruck or the weighted backpack. Mine happens to have 25 kilos in it, and I walk with that every day. Now, where the 25 kilos come from? Easy. That's how much heavier I used to be before I got all my crap together. So, I've simply chosen that there, plus it rounds up to a nice 50-55 pounds, which is the standard in a few other things that we see around the place. So you can do the backpack on the back, and you can do your reverse lunges with the weighted backpack. If you don't have the rower, then it's easy. You can easily go and get a band and you can simply row with a band, mimic the pattern. And maybe you just simply say to myself, I'm going to do this for 2 minutes and I'm going to see what it brings. You could also sit down and you could do pulling the rope, right? The rope can be an endless rope around a circle. You could be pulling a kettlebell one end, a kettlebell the other, around a column in the gym. Don't worry, the gym will fix the floor up and therefore get the same pattern. The body drops, you can do them. You can do the step overs. Now, option 2 of the step overs, if you don't want to do that there, you could potentially do walking lunges. But then the 2 lunges, I've got to represent the one of the box step over because it's a slight different variation. From there, the ski erg, don't have a ski erg, cool. Grab a skipping rope. Everyone's got a skipping rope. Skip for 2 minutes. Stay at a constant speed. If you can't skip, no big deal. Keep it in one hand here and just pogo on the floor. Pogo on the floor for 2 minutes. Yes, your calves are going to feel it, but hey, it's an alternative to using the ski erg. Farmer's lunge, again, if you don't have the kettlebells, you can take that backpack and simply do like a suitcase carry it up the lap on one side, turn around, carry it up the lap on the other side. And as far as the weights are concerned, $7 here in Australia, you can go to Bunnings and buy yourself a 20 kilo bag of sand, work out the weight you need, put the rest in the garden, whack it in the bag, you are sorted. The bike, I know people just don't like the bike, but again, you could do suicide runs, shuttle runs, right? 25 calories, 66 RPM, okay, it's not a minute, it's around 2 minutes, right? It's around 2 minutes at that pace, so therefore if you think that that's you, then do 2 minutes, but you got to give it your all when you are doing the shuttle runs for the 2 minutes, right? It doesn't have to be short. You could do this in a basketball court. You can motor up and down that basketball court, but you got to motor. It's the same way as burning the calories on the bike. The dead ball wall overs, hey, you don't have them, you've got your backpack. Pick it up to here, walk a step forward, put it down. Pick it up, walk a step forward, put it down. Mimic the pattern. It's the same move. You're picking it up, you're putting it over, you're placing it down. Easy done. Bear crawls, you can do bear crawls. If you're not, you want to do the sled, you can do the sled. If not, then simply pick something that you know is going to take you a good 2 minutes, 3 minutes or so to have to push and pull. Right? Push and pull. Think of that. Push and pull. That's the motion. The devil's type press or the ram burpees, then same thing. You can get down, you can stand up, you can do one bag swing like a kettlebell. That's 1 rep. Get down on the floor, stand up, 2nd rep. Use your imagination. Dekafit can be used. I've been using it now for a while. It's a great little workout. And again, Spartans, when the time comes that we get these borders back open, we start to see events in Sydney and Melbourne and maybe Adelaide and Perth. Who knows what's out there? There's no excuse for you not, as they say, getting your shit done.